For our grilled pineapple, we're going to cut off our ends. And when you're peeling a pineapple, an orange, and a lemon, what you want to do is you want to take your knife and you follow that line of the previous cut. And that way you can make nice clean cuts that aren't as jagged or a little bit smoother. Now we're going to take this, we're going to slice these in 1/4 inch slices. Yep, we'll eat that one. Okay, we're going to take our sheet tray and spray it very well. That way our pineapples aren't going to stick. That sugar is going to caramelize. And we're going to place this underneath the broiler on high heat, medium level. You got to be careful because I know you guys are probably better than me, but sometimes your slices aren't exactly perfect. So one's going to caramelize before the other one. So you got to be very conscious of that. All right, as you can see how these, caramelized before the ones in the back did. All right, so that we just got to watch so we can turn these ones first, and then we'll continue watching these. But again, once they start, they go very quickly. You have to stay here and watch it. All right. So we have them all set for one. We'll push these forward. Let these two go for one more second. And then we'll take these, put them on the speed rack, let them cool. All right, now we're gonna make our caramel rum sauce. Pretty much just like our traditional caramel sauce that we make. We're starting out with our granulated sugar and our corn syrup. We're gonna put that on the stove, medium heat, and we're gonna let that caramelize slowly. Big thing when you're making a caramel sauce is that you don't want to splash the sides with the little pieces of sugar and the corn syrup, because what will happen is once that starts to cook, if that gets back down in the sauce, that's where you can get that rock candy, and that sugar will crystallize. So you want to make sure when you mix it, all right, that you mix it easily, right, and don't get it up on the sides of the pan. And once it's all dissolved, you don't have to stir it anymore until it starts to brown to even out that nice caramelization. Okay, our sugar and corn syrup, the sugar starting to dissolve. So now we're gonna stir this again just every once in a while until it goes clear, and then we're gonna pull the whisk out. Again, making sure we don't splash up on the side walls of the pan. See now, our caramel is a rich amber color. It's not burnt. Okay, but a real deep brown. And one thing with this, you always can pull it off if you think it's getting close. Pull it off, put it on a sheet tray, and let it sit for a second. It's going to continue to cook. And I always like to do this on a sheet tray because you got to be very careful of the steam and it boiling over. And if it would boil over, this way you have a tray to catch it. I like to put in like 1/3. Very careful. Let that melt. And then we're going to add the rest, and we're going to put this back on top of the stove and bring it up, and then the sugar will dissolve. Our cream came up, and we're melting all our sugar. You see that nice, rich amber color. Just want to stir that well to make sure that little bit of sugar that's left dissolves. Look at that nice color. That's the color we're looking for. Now we're going to stir in our rum and our butter. we're just gonna slowly whisk that butter as it dissolves into the sauce. Again, you want to whisk it and you don't want to let it sit there and separate. Just like your Monte au Beurre finishing a sauce. So we'll just finish whisking this in, let it cool room temperature, put it in a Lexan cover label date. For our vanilla rum sauce, we're going to take 1 quart of half and half, put it in a pot, and we're going to put that on the stove just to come to a boil. While that's coming to a boil, we're going to take our 10 egg yolks, our 8 ounces of granulated sugar, our 1.5 teaspoons of cornstarch, and we're going to blend those together. And like most custards, we want to whisk those until we get a little lemony consistency. See how it just lightens up a little bit as that sugar dissolves. And then we're going to take our hot half and half, and we're going to temper the eggs with the half and half. So that means we're just going to add a little bit. Then we're going to blend that together. Once that's blended, we'll add a little bit more. You don't want to add too much at one time. You don't want to add too much at one time, because if you do, you could curdle your eggs. And then we're going to add the rest. And now we're going to take this and bring this over to the stove and put it on a pot with water, and we're going to finish cooking our vanilla rum sauce. All right, we just want to gently continue to move. This is one thing that you have to watch. You can't walk away from this. So you want to gently move with a rubber spatula your custard, and you'll see the foam will start to subside the thicker it gets. The biggest thing for this also is you want to make sure you always have ready beforehand a bowl of ice and your bain-marie, so you can put this directly into your ice bath to stop the cooking process. You can see how the foam is dissipating now. Okay, because all the foam is gone, it's starting to thicken. You can feel it with your spatula. And now we're getting a nice nappe on the back of our spatula. Give it about another 30 seconds. All right, we're going to bring this, we're going to put this directly into our ice bain-marie. It has to be strained, but we don't want to strain it now, because the time that it takes to strain it through the chinois, your sauce can overcook. So it's always better to chill it down first. And we still want to move that around a little bit for about 30 seconds after it goes in the bain-marie, so that way it cools down evenly, so the center doesn't stay cooking. And now we're going to take this, put this off to the side. After it's cool, we're going to strain it. Take our chilled sauce, and we're going to strain this now through the chinois. You always want to strain it because you can get that, maybe that little piece of cooked egg white that was left on there. You always can use a ladle. And then we're going to take our rum extract, or rum flavoring, not extract, it's a flavoring, very similar, not quite as strong. And we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons. And 1 tablespoon of vanilla paste. This has the vanilla beans in there. 1 tablespoon of the vanilla paste. And I don't know if you can see, but you can have the nice little specks of the vanilla bean. Now we're going to take this, again, put it in Cambro, date it, label it, put it in the fridge. For our lemon mascarpone cream to garnish our pineapple upside down cake, we're going to take our 2 pounds of mascarpone cream. We're going to use a little bit of whipped cream stabilizer, which will be available from Gourmet Spice. 2 teaspoons of that, 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, and then we're going to mix these two together. Mix our stabilizer and our granulated sugar together. We're going to add this to our mascarpone cream. Now this can be done in a small KitchenAid. We're going to mix that together, and we're going to, like, medium speed for about 30 seconds. So that's blended very, very well. We're going to add our tablespoon of lemon zest. And you'll be able to feel it tighten up. That stabilizer works very, very quickly. See how that tightened up? That way we're going to be able to make nice quenelles to garnish the cake. Then we'll just take this, put a little Lexan, label date, refrigerate, and keep that for our line setup. For our pineapple upside down prep, we are going to take our roasted pineapple that we did in our broiler, and we're going to cut these in 1/4 inch pieces. It usually works out 3 or 4 pieces across. Straighten them off, and then go ahead and cut them in that 1/4 inch dice. Same thing on the other side. 3 to 4 across. Straighten it off. Same thing with the ends. Biggest thing on these is just straightening off the ends, lining them up, so then that way we get a nice 1/4 inch dice. We'll do one more set. And the ends. Again, lining them up nicely every time. All right, to prepare our molds, we're going to take our ramekins, spray them with a little Vaseline, and then we'll take and we'll place, it's generally 1 tablespoon of our sugar in the raw. What's the easiest thing to do if you're doing 4 molds is to take all 4 tablespoons, put it in the first mold, and then just turn them around, coat them nicely, and then just tap out the excess. And then if there's a little bit left, you just take that and dump it right back into your sugar bowl. Okay, now we're gonna look at a recipe. We're gonna take 1.5 tablespoons of our nice diced pineapple that we did. We're going to place that in the bottom of the mold, 1.5 tablespoons in each. And now we're going to take a side of the spoon and we're just going to tap these down so it's level in the bottom of the ramekin. And you want to make sure that the bottom's covered. If you need a little bit more, just add a couple more pieces so that bottom is covered nicely. Now we're going to take our caramel rum sauce that we made earlier, and we're going to put 2 teaspoons of the caramel rum sauce in the bottom of each mold. This almost gives it a creme caramel type of flavor after it bakes. Now we're going to take our butter cake mix that we made, the base, where we weigh these out in 2.7 ounce balls. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take our fingers and round them out like little hockey pucks, the same size as the opening of our molds, right? And then make a little indentation in the top of it for our cream cheese. And we just take that and place that right inside, make sure it's all the way down. And this goes very quickly. Again, we always got to make sure when we're working with this butter cake mix, okay, that it's cold. All right, we want to make sure that after we make it, it gets refrigerated. If not, that butter will just ooze right out. And when we put it in the oven, if it's not cold, same thing will happen. The butter will separate and come out. Again, nice indentation for our cream cheese. Now we're going to take our cream cheese filling and we're going to put 1 tablespoon of the cream cheese filling in the center. Right in that indentation that we made. And you want to make sure you make that indentation. If not, when it bakes, it'll bake around the outside and you won't get that beautiful caramelized crust on the outside of your cake. Now we're going to take these and put these in our convection oven, low fan, 275 degrees for approximately 45 minutes until that top just sets with the touch of a finger. For the assembly of our pineapple upside down cake, we place our cake in the oven, 350 degrees for about 3-4 minutes, okay? And then we'll take it, we'll just loosen the top a little bit with our paring knife. And then it should come right out. As you can see, our nice caramelized pineapple is on top. That gets put down in the center of the bowl, making sure we keep our bowl clean. Okay, now we're going to take 1.5 ounce ladle of our vanilla rum sauce and go right around our cake with that. 2 teaspoons, making beautiful quenelle with our mascarpone cream. Oop. A little bit too much water on that one. There we go. Takes just a little bit of practice. That goes right on top. And then 1/2 ounce of macadamia nuts. Mint sprig. And then we made a dust with pineapple juice powder. It's 2 ounces of pineapple juice powder, 6 ounces of powdered sugar, and we mix them all together, right? And then we're just going to lightly dust with that. Simple, full flavor dessert. Yes, a little bit smaller than a butter cake, but very, very rich